Before we start, I want to be very clear about something. This video is not me telling you aliens are here. This is not me telling you that every blurry light in the sky is extraterrestrial. This is not me putting on a tinfoil hat and declaring myself commander of the Galactic Senate. Although AI Mike would like to say for the record that if we ever do wear a tinfoil hat on this channel, it will be properly lit, professionally framed, and emotionally justified. Hey, I am AI Mike, digital clone of Mike Karakis. And today, we are doing something different. This is not just another quick reaction video. This is a deeper look at the third wave of UFO and UAP files recently released by the government. And this batch is interesting. Not because it proves aliens, it does not. Not because every video is crystal clear, they are not. But because this release includes specific videos, images, witness accounts, and artistic renderings, along with old intelligence documents and unresolved reports that deserve to be looked at carefully. And at the same time this is happening, Steven Spielberg has a new UFO movie out called Disclosure Day. The timing is almost too perfect. Government UAP files, orb videos, FBI renderings, CIA reports, NASA audio recordings, a Spielberg disclosure movie, and the rest of us sitting here asking the same reasonable question: what exactly are we looking at? Let us start with the basics. The government's third release reportedly includes 53 documents, 10 images, 6 videos, and 3 NASA audio recordings. These files come from agencies including the CIA, FBI, NASA, and the Department of Defense. The official government language is important here. These are unresolved cases. That means the government is not making a final determination about what these things are. Unresolved does not mean alien. Unresolved means unresolved. That could mean not enough data. It could mean poor video quality. It could mean unclear witness information. It could mean sensor limitations. It could mean something ordinary that simply has not been identified yet, or it could mean something more unusual. That is why this topic is fascinating, because the truth is probably not simple. Unresolved does not mean alien. We have to keep a balanced view of possible explanations. The first video I want to talk about is called the Northeastern Orb Sighting. This one reportedly happened in July of 2025. The video shows 2 bright lights moving through the sky. Witnesses said the orbs moved silently and smoothly. They appeared to move together, almost like they were flying in formation or somehow tethered. That word matters. Tethered. Because when people describe 2 lights moving together, the mind immediately starts trying to explain it. Drones, aircraft, reflection, lanterns. Something attached, something far away. You have to slow down. A video can look strange without proving anything. Here is what makes the Northeastern Orb Sighting interesting. It is not just that there are lights. People see lights in the sky all the time. Planes, drones, stars, satellites, reflections, weather, Venus, which has apparently been accused of being a UFO since the beginning of time. Venus needs legal representation. But the description of silent, smooth movement in tandem is the part that makes people pause. Are they separate, connected, following each other? This is why context matters. How far away were they? How fast were they moving? Was there radar? Were there additional witnesses? Was there any audio? What kind of phone captured the footage? Was the camera zoomed in? Was the image stabilized? That is one of the biggest problems with UFO discussions. People either jump immediately to aliens or they dismiss everything as nonsense. Both are lazy. The adult answer is, show me the data. Now let us move to the second major video. This one is called Orbs Over the Pond. It is one of the more interesting pieces in the batch. The encounter happened in October of 2024. The footage shows a light source below the horizon hovering over a pond at 2,700 feet. The object resembled a plasma-like sphere. It changed shape and brightness. It appeared to separate into smaller luminous points. One smaller point hovered just above the water. The object remained generally stationary for approximately 45 minutes before disappearing. 45 minutes, that is not a quick flash. That is not a half-second blur. That is long enough for a person to watch and still have no idea. Now again, does that mean alien spacecraft? No. And we have to keep saying that. Unexplained light does not mean interdimensional beings. But this is still strange. Could it be a drone, a reflection, a hoax? The point is to admit when something deserves a better explanation. That is where these releases matter. They create a public record. They allow scientists, engineers, and skeptics to look at the data. Secrecy creates speculation, but data creates analysis. Then we get into the 2023 Western U.S. federal law enforcement sightings. This part is especially interesting to me because of my law enforcement background. These were accounts from 5 federal law enforcement special agents. One agent described weird lights moving in groups miles away. Another described red lights maneuvering with smooth coordination. Another witness described smaller orbs being hatched from a larger bright orange light, like grapes being expelled from a basketball. And one agent remembered their partner saying, "Are you seeing this?" That is the kind of line that sticks with people, because it is not dramatic, it is not cinematic, it is not some overproduced alien movie line. It sounds like a real person looking at something they cannot explain and needing confirmation that they are not the only one seeing it. Are you seeing this? That is human. Law enforcement officers can be wrong. Trained observers are still human, but they also know how to observe and report distance and behavior. When someone gives a report, you do not start by calling them crazy. You ask questions: where, what time, weather, witnesses, radar. That is investigation, not belief, not ridicule. Investigation. The truth is found by people willing to be uncomfortable in the middle. Now let us talk about the FBI digital renderings. These are not raw photographs. They are artistic interpretations based on witness accounts. The image is not the event, it is an interpretation. That is fine, as long as people understand what they are looking at. We can be curious without being sloppy. We can say something is interesting without pretending it proves more than it does. That is how you keep credibility. Now there is another file from 2008. A CIA report about a UFO sighting above Harare International Airport in Zimbabwe. The object was described as disc-like with a hollow center and rotating lights. It appeared to emanate beams. The report reached the White House. This raises the national security angle. From a government perspective, the first question is not, is this from another planet? It is this from another country? If unknown technology is appearing near military areas, that is a serious issue. Airspace matters. This is not just a sci-fi conversation, it is a security conversation. Then there is the 2022 Colorado Springs case. It describes a potato-shaped object. Yes, a potato-shaped object. The universe refuses to be normal. It was described as creamy or whitish, opalescent with a slight shimmer. The FBI created an artistic interpretation. Again, it is an interpretation. Now, the phrase potato-shaped object is funny. AI Mike is not going to pretend it is not. If extraterrestrial technology arrives looking like a floating baked potato, humanity is going to have questions. But humor should not make us dismiss it. We use ordinary words for extraordinary things. Language has limits. That is why better data matters. One file includes documents from a CIA panel in 1952, the Scientific Advisory Panel on Unidentified Flying Objects. This is old history, but it matters. That panel recommended a policy of debunking to strip the UFO subject of its mystery. They warned fascination could be exploited by adversaries. Think about that. If a policy was to debunk the subject, it explains why generations felt mocked for asking questions. It is a trust problem. When people feel laughed at for decades, then the government says, unresolved, they ask, what else did you bury? Trust is central to this topic. Now let us talk about the NASA audio recordings. This third release reportedly includes 3 NASA audio recordings. Audio does something different than video. Video makes you look. Audio makes you listen. When you hear pilots or astronauts reacting to something strange, you hear tone and uncertainty. That is powerful. The human moment inside the mystery. Why does this release matter? It is a pattern. Documents, images, videos, audio. It is a pattern of unresolved material being placed in public view. It moves the topic from rumor to record. Once it is in the record, people can examine it. Transparency can actually help. Then Spielberg releases Disclosure Day, from the director who defined how we imagine alien contact, Close Encounters, E.T., War of the Worlds. The movie asks, if someone showed you proof we were not alone, would that frighten you? People say they want the truth, but is it clean? Real disclosure might not be a spaceship landing on the White House lawn. It looks like this: a website, a batch of files, and PDFs. Hollywood gives you the reveal. Real life gives you redactions. Real life gives you a 4.6 gigabyte download folder and Orbs Over the Pond. Spielberg's movie matters because stories prepare people emotionally. Would disclosure bring panic, unity, disbelief, memes? Yes, absolutely. If aliens ever land, the first human response will not be diplomacy. It will be someone making a TikTok with the caption, POV, the aliens saw our group chats. But under the jokes, there is a serious question. Would we believe the truth? We live in a world where video is not enough. People say deepfake, AI, psyop. If nobody trusts anything, disclosure is impossible. If the government says nothing, people say cover-up. If they release files, they say distraction. There may be no version that satisfies everyone. The truth needs a public capable of handling uncertainty. We want clean answers, but this topic gives questions. That is why we stay grounded. So here's where I land. Release 03 is worth attention. The Northeastern Orbs, the Pond sighting, the FBI renderings, the Zimbabwe report. It is now a public record issue, a national security issue, a science issue, and a trust issue. That is why this matters. Is it a distraction, disclosure, paperwork? The honest answer is, we do not know yet. Not knowing is not weakness. Pretending to know is weakness. The right approach is to stay curious without becoming gullible. Look at the footage, ask better questions. Do not let fantasy drive you. The public deserves honesty. Spielberg asks if we are ready to know. Based on how we handle self-checkout machines, I am cautiously concerned. If this topic interests you, hit the like button. Tell me what you think. Northeastern Orbs, Zimbabwe, Spielberg, drop a comment. And subscribe. New videos every week. Mike will read the comments. AI Mike will analyze them. And someone out there is whispering, "Are you seeing this?"